Hello and welcome back to the MLB DFS Slate Breakdown for Tuesday, September 26th. We are back. We're going to break down today's slate, and I'm probably going to be back for tomorrow for the Wednesday slate as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. But before we do, come join us on LineStar. $39.99 a month gets you access to everything you will see here, as well as Prop AI Plus for all of the sports we cover. Props AI has been great, and it has allowed us to crush the prop market on our other shows. If you aren't watching those, you probably should. We've made some people some money, and we're going to continue to do so. All right, now, today we're just going to jump right into the slate. Yesterday's 3-gamer was just that. It was only a 3-gamer. Also very small contest. So don't really feel like we should go over that one too much. All right. Now we'll get into the ownership here. Before we do, just a quick run through of the slate itself. We do have the Colorado game, 11.5 total versus the Dodgers. Other ones of note, 9.5. We have the Cubs versus the Braves, Diamondbacks versus White Sox at 9, and Rangers versus Angels at 9. So those are the highest Vegas total games. Doesn't necessarily mean that those are the stacks we should focus on, but it is nice to point out. Now, there's also a slew of weather issues to take notice of. Don't think we're going to see any PPDs, but there are several spots you should probably take a look at and, just monitor as we come closer to lock. All right, so the highest owned pitcher today is Kevin Gausman, and it's no surprise. It is Gausman. He has been a stud all season long, and he continues to do so. He absolutely crushed the Yankees last week, and now he's back. It is the second time he has seen them within a week, so you don't love that. But look, he's crushed them pretty much all season long, and I would expect him to crush them once again. He has been in the perfect lineup the 3 times he has faced the Yankees, and that is at Yankee Stadium or in Toronto. Either one, he has done well, and I expect him to do well once again. The whole reason to fade him would be the fact that he's super high owned, and he is very expensive at 11.5K. We have his projection at 1.9x, so not typically what we'd like to see, but, he's not bad. Michael King is next. He absolutely crushed Toronto last time out, 13 Ks in 7 innings. He definitely has some K upside, and we should take notice because he is very, very cheap on DraftKings. So he is interesting here. Now, do I expect him to come out and put 13 Ks up again? No, not whatsoever. But at his price, you do absolutely have to notice him. There are some scary things, though, with him. 48% fly ball rate, 33% hard contact. He can get hit hard. Does that happen today? I don't know, but a 30% combined K rate at 6K is extremely enticing. Bailey Ober, 9.1K, is versus the A's, who we love to pick on. And I'm usually pretty much going to Ober, but I do like him today in this spot. I do wish he was a little less owned on DraftKings. I think he is a little more interesting on FanDuel than on DK. But he is extremely interesting here. 24% combined K rate at 9.1K. And it's this Oakland lineup that we just love to pick on. Look, they do get some hard contact, but their WOBA is terrible, and they strike out a ton. And they're in Minnesota. So I think a lot of things are looking good for Ober today. Next, Zach Thomas, 20%, 5.5K. I don't love this play. Brewers are much better versus lefties. And Thomas, 4.62 FIP, 5.61 ERA over his last 5. Not much K upside, walking a lot of guys, giving up some hard contact. I think there's a very, very good chance he could get shelled today. Don't mind a little bit of a Brewer stack there either. Next, Tanner Huck. I do actually like Tanner Huck here. He is a very risky play because he doesn't work that deep into games a lot of the time. But when he's on, he has some nice strikeout upside and can be efficient. So he does have those ceiling pops from time to time. Don't mind going him. He's been good versus Tampa Bay. Could see it going back that way today. I don't love it, but, I don't mind going there. Christian Javier, I still just don't understand what's gone to him. It's been a tale of two seasons. Absolutely great last season. This season he's been bad. The one thing I do have to bring up is it seems like his strikeout stuff is coming back a little bit. 32% K rate over his last 5. We have a nice 28% combined K rate on him. Just really hard to trust against the Mariners offense that's been hitting pretty well lately. Jake Lutz looks like he may be a projected starter, but wouldn't really think too much of it as he only went 2 innings last time out. Garrett's fine. Eflin is fine as a, cheap way to get a little, unowned way to get a little different. He is a pay-up option, but he has been very, very good. 2.6 FIP on the year, 2.15 over his last 5. The thing that's very interesting to me is over his last 5, that K rate has jumped up to 32%. So it is definitely interesting when Boston's striking out at 26% versus righties. I think there is some interest going to him trying to get a little bit different. Reed Detmers, I'm slightly interested as well. When he's on, he does have some real nice strikeout stuff. 26% K rate over his last 20. He's much better at home. 38% more fantasy points at home. This Texas lineup is just dangerous. So that is, the worry there. But he is low owned, 1.8x projection. Slightly interesting here. I think Joey Lucchesi is very interesting. I do worry about how deep he will work into this game, but Miami offense doesn't scare me that much. They strike out 25% versus lefties, and he's been pretty good. FIP of 3.87 over his last 20, FIP of 4. Just the K rate isn't super high, so, the ceiling isn't quite there, but he does interest me a little bit. Cody Bradford is a cheap one that's slightly interesting. He started last game, went 64 pitches. They're still trying to stretch him out a little bit. The issue with him is he may barely go over 70 pitches today, but this Angels lineup is awful. Low WOBA. They strike out a decent amount. Don't mind going for Bradford. Just wish he, had a few more pitches in his arsenal for today, but I don't think that's the case. Justin Steele, potential, I think Snell's got the Cy Young wrapped up, but Steele has been amazing and is definitely at least a runner-up in that race. 27% combined K rate. Nobody's going to go to him because it's against this Braves offense, but they are playing for the playoffs. They need good starts from him down the stretch. This Angels offense is ridiculous versus lefties. 387 WOBA, 256 ISO. League average ISO is around 140. So almost or over 100 points better than that. So it is very, very dangerous being a lefty against this lineup. But Steele's a really good pitcher, and he can definitely, shut down any team. So he is interesting, just very risky being how good they are. Elder is just fine, I think. Bobby Miller in Coors. If it was not in Coors, I would be considering it. In Coors, it's just a little bit of a risk that I don't feel like taking. And now let's check over on FanDuel real quick. Gosman, obviously, highest owned. He is in the best spot. Ober is next, 23% owned, 9K. I do like Ober quite a bit as, slightly under Gosman ownership, but much cheaper. King has some appeal here. Detmers has some appeal. You can get risky with Huck as well. And now let's get over to some stack attacks. All right. What's going on here? All right, there we go. All right, so the highest projected owned stack is the Arizona Cardinals today. It is versus Jose Urena. Urena is not very good. So I totally get everybody wanting to stack Arizona here. Urena, I am picking against on the prop side. I like his over 1.5 walks. He lets some guys on base. Arizona has speed. They have power. They can create fantasy points. So they are very interesting. It's also a cheaper stack, so it allows you to get up to some pitchers if you want to do that. So they're interesting. Now let's look at the highest projected. Looks like they are pretty much dominating the highest owned. So let's see where we can get different today. Look at the highest projected of LineStar, and the Dodgers are all over that, as they should be. The issue here, you are going to have to pay down at pitcher to get the Dodgers or to get the Braves, both of which do look like they're in decent spots here. Like them both. And Padres are also showing up. I do like the Padres a lot. And even though Kyle Harrison is a lefty, I do like the lefty bats today. Harrison has given up a lot of hard contact to lefties. So I think the Padres are 100% in play today. And pretty interesting. They still have a slight, very, very slight chance of the playoffs. It's probably doubtful, but there is a little bit of a chance, and they will be playing for that. The Rangers versus Detmers, definitely a little interesting. Detmers is a decent pitcher here, but he can get got, so I do like that one as well. Now, all of these stacks are pretty expensive. The Padres are the cheapest out of those three teams, but all three of those teams are likely going a bit under-owned and fairly interesting to me. Now, value side, obviously the Diamondbacks are going to pop up a little bit as they are a cheap one and they are higher owned. But we also have the Angels popping up versus Bradford. A little bit interesting. You know, it is young bats. They're playing for their MLB career, so you know they're still trying, even though the team is, you know, out of contention and has been for a while. Bradford is okay, but he's probably not going to be there deep, and then you got the Texas bullpen to worry about. Also, Milwaukee is popping up. I am very interested in this Milwaukee stack. They hit lefties pretty well, and not many people are going there, so it's interesting. Oakland going unowned. They hit the ball hard. Not against having a small stack of Oakland. Minnesota versus, pretty much any time Oakland is on the mound, you can go against them. Their starters have got much better, but that bullpen is still terrible, so it's definitely of interest. Now, highest ceiling on the day. We're going to have Houston. We're going to have Atlanta. All right, so Atlanta, we got Texas, we got Padres, all of which are very interesting. Houston's popping up a little bit here as well. Of these, I got to say my favorites are San Diego and Texas. Don't love going against Steele, as he is more of a ground ball pitcher. He needs to really make mistakes to let hard contact and some home runs go. So I don't love Atlanta today and do favor Texas and the Padres over him. And now let's check the teams just to see that we're not missing anything. So obviously, highest run total is Dodgers. Braves are next. The Rockies are after that. Rockies are absolutely interesting. You got the Sam Coors hitting environment. Then we got the Diamondbacks, the Brewers. Brewers are a cheap stack going under owned, so interesting. And Minnesota is also very, very interesting. I think the slate as a whole, there's a lot of different ways to get different. So I think all of them are interesting. Your leverage stacks for today on DraftKings, I think Toronto is a little interesting. Michael King has been very good, but he's still a young, inexperienced pitcher, so I absolutely am kind of interested in going to him. But I don't love it, and I am not saying to stack Toronto a ton. If you have a little bit of that, that is fine. But pretty much the stacks I like the most are all the ones with a higher implied total here. I think it sets up pretty well for them. And on this big of a slate, you don't need to get as different. There's plenty of stacks that really go off. And I definitely like Texas, Milwaukee, Arizona, however, they're going a high owned, and the Padres. All right, guys, that will do it for us today. I will be back tomorrow. I wish you all the best, and let's make some money. Adios.